Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
season 3
3
of
Pero
Let Me Tell You. Did you see that video that I posted on our Instagram of the guy on top of the car?
What was that about?
I don't know, but that's very typical.
That's typical.
I think it's very typical. I think it's very on Only a Date. Well, we posted it on ours, but it was originally from Only a Date. I think that's very Miami. Like the guy probably got off his car.
Que un viejo se sienta en
Con
el
la
capó.
guaperia, and no car is gonna be in my way, and he just like got in
But
top
it was
of the
an
car.
older man. It wasn't even like
Do
a
you
kid.
think that guaperia knows ages?
No, that's true. That's true. It is the great equalizer, I suppose.
Yeah. So,
I suppose.
what episode are we on?
I think we're on episode 120.
Well, welcome to episode 120, everyone.
An episode further away from 100.
I'm tired. How is everybody? Happy Friday.
Oh, I'm tired too. Like the last couple of weeks have just been exhausting.
And I don't even know why. I don't know. I think it's everything on you, like
I think
the mood.
It's
But we're better. Let me tell you. So we gotta be chipper.
We gotta be
Hello,
chipper.
everybody.
We gotta step it up. Step it up. But I think it's because everything is just like it's different. You know what I mean? Like by now we'd be like, okay, vacation's coming up, or have just taken a vacation. Like a little break. But there's no break.
Yeah. What is your? So welcome everybody. How is everybody? Happy Friday. Happy episode 120.
120. Whoop, whoop.
So what is your take on people that like have gone on like vacations to hotels, to pools, to?
Well, I've been one of those people, and we are going to be those people as well this upcoming weekend.
No, we're not. No, we're not. What we're doing is very different.
What's an Airbnb?
No, what you did a couple of weeks ago, and what we're going to do for your birthday is 6-7 close people who are going to a house,
right,
and staying at the house.
Right.
That's not the same thing as going to a hotel with hundreds of people.
True. Okay,
and going into a pool with hundreds of people.
Okay.
Not the same thing.
I see what you're
because
saying.
that's no different than what you and I are doing. What we're going to do for your birthday
is what we're doing now, but with a pool.
Right. It's no different that you right.
Yeah.
And even when we have been together, our friends as a group, for us that we're very on each other, we sort of social distance.
True. We kind of have.
We haven't like kissed each other or like
we were at a barbecue last weekend.
Yeah, we were close, but not como junto pero no revuelto,
which
right?
is very difficult for us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
but I see pictures, and like I don't like to be Debbie Downer because it's just not who I am. But I like in these past couple of weeks, I've seen people like. There was just somebody I follow on Instagram that's a personal friend of our family that she was at some place in Marco Island and she was living at large and there was like 200 people in the pool and I'm like,
I mean I get it, but in all fairness, if they've lifted the restrictions in that area, then
I know, but it's just
so be it.
Yo no tengo ganas de hacer nada.
I'm kind of with you, like quiero pero no quiero,
because it's like
I want to go do something because I want to go do something.
Right,
I'm
but
tired
it's
of being
like
home.
you go. Okay, let's say that you went to do something because like I was even thinking, how on like Labor Day we love to go to the Bonnet Creek in
Orlando.
In Orlando, and as you know, I like to go there and veg out for 4 or 5 days
on that lazy river.
On that lazy river, I have been on that lazy river from morning till sunset.
Ooh, which reminds me. When we're at the pool, don't forget all of your floaties next weekend.
Okay, yes.
Okay. I'm reminding you on air.
Okay. So, pero es que uno va con una preocupación, like you're kind of like on edge.
But you're assuming that those people van con preocupación. That's the thing.
Okay.
But I'm saying they're not because they're not worried for whatever reason. Whatever. Am I making sense?
No. I understand. But, like people aren't proceeding with caution. It's like whatever.
They're like whatever.
Right, because they don't believe it.
Right. Si me coge la corona, me cogió.
Whereas I already know 5-6 people personally that have the coronavirus. Like personally. Did you see the economy numbers that came out today?
I did not.
The economy in this quarter. Okay. It went down, I think, 13%. It is the largest drop in American history.
In history, even the Depression?
Larger than the Great Depression and larger than the Great Recession. In one quarter. In 1 quarter, yeah. It was the largest drop.
Wow, even bigger than the Depression.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm worried. Like, I really am. Like, I'm worried. I'm worried because some people are still not taking this seriously. No matter how many experts you have talking about it, it's become political. And it's become...
Which is the death knell for anything being taken seriously.
It's become political.
Right.
So it's, wear masks versus I'm not going to wear a mask.
But I would hope that, and go with me on this, I would hope that, the president has been seen wearing the mask now. So I would hope that maybe that would turn some opinions, perhaps?
Maybe. I hope so. But there's people who believe that... I have seen people's Instagram of people that I know. Right, that say that this is a conspiracy, like from pharma companies and all this stuff, and I'm like, I as rational as I try to be, that's something that I can't find rationale in. Like, I can't find a logic.
Like, it's a conspiracy to get money out of people for the tests?
I don't know. Are they being, as a couple of episodes back, is this like John Galt? Like, are the people that are dying in this, from coronavirus, are they being sent somewhere? I mean,
Antarctica. It's not really that cold.
And can you imagine? You go to Antarctica and it's like Hawaii. It's like a tropical paradise. What are you talking about? But no, I'm worried about the economy. Like, everybody's worried about the economy. But after I saw those numbers today, and just before you got here that we started to record, I was watching on PBS a Harvard economist, and he was saying that he doesn't see an end in
silver lining.
He doesn't see an end in sight, because he's like, numbers here have surged. There hasn't been a total lockdown of the country. Right. Other countries that have had it have been successful or more successful.
Right, comparatively.
But here they haven't, for whatever reason they haven't. And now we're dealing with these numbers, and who knows when a vaccine will come out. And even if it's a year, what's going to happen in a year? And the problem is unemployment claims keep going up.
And there's not enough money to
it's not even there's not enough money to pay them out. There is, because right now the Democrats and the Republicans are fighting over either 1 trillion or 3 trillion, stimulus plan.
At that point, whatever.
I mean, there is money, but it's not even about paying people out. It's about, like, how do you revive the economy?
Right.
Because most people don't want to go out because that's what I'm telling you, Mira. Like, here in Miami, the restaurants that are open, you have to eat outside. ¿Tú crees con el calor que hay, I'm going to go to a tent?
Versailles. Did you see the tents that Versailles put up?
No, I haven't seen Versailles, but I'm sure it's like everybody else's.
Yeah.
I mean, a tent, so you may say, well, no, it's a restaurant by the beach or whatever.
Right.
That's breezy. But like in the middle of suburbia, con el calor que hay ahora, no.
No, you do what you can and hope for the best, I guess.
And, this economist that I was watching, talking about this from Harvard, he was saying how, home prices haven't gone up, home sales have gone down, car sales have gone down. Obviously, the tourism is dead, hospitality is dead. The restaurant industry. I mean,
entertainment venues.
Yeah.
I mean, concerts, baseball games. None of it is happening.
Yeah. I have a very, very good friend of mine that he's a staffing manager for a big, sports team here in Florida, and he was saying, "I'm worried because we're not hiring anybody."
That's true.
There's a hiring freeze.
There's a hiring freeze.
So,
everybody has a hiring freeze.
So what do I do?
Even my company that's doing very well has a hiring freeze.
Yeah. So it's like one of these things that, you can't overwhelm yourself too much thinking about it.
No, you can't.
But I get a little bit annoyed, and you know me, I don't like to dictate people on how they should live their life. You live your life however you want. But I just get a little bit annoyed at people that are like living their best life without a care in the world, and they're plastering it all over social media, because it's like, are you doing that out of defiance? Okay,
when you say living their best life, and to what degree are we talking here?
What I was saying, people oh my God, here I am partying and getting drunk and no sé qué, with like 1 million people, and it's like, I don't know. Like, are you doing that out of defiance to show the world, on social media, like, fuck this, I'm going to do what I want? Because, again, it goes back to what I was telling you. Like, uno no tiene ganas de hacer nada. Like, you're just like, it's not the best time right now. Do I really want to go out, like, partying, Even if I can. Even if I'm in a place that I can, I don't know. But that's my doomsday.
But that's okay because you're not having sex with demons.
Oh my gosh. Did you see that whole debacle? And Madonna reposted it. Okay, what the hell's going on with Madonna?
Listen, I don't... Maybe she's having sex with demons.
Because the thing about Madonna is that whether you like Madonna or not, I mean, I feel that Madonna's a very intelligent person. You know what I mean?
Traditionally.
Whether you think she's, whether you think she's controversial, whether you like her music or you don't like her music, whether you love her or hate her, whatever. She's somebody who has proven time and time again to be very, very sharp and very, very intelligent. So what the hell is she doing posting this type of stuff, knowing that she has such a big influence? So to give somebody...
So I was saying, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and talk about... So,
give some context.
So this week, right?
This week, there was this video that went viral that actually the president posted.
Yeah, of Dr. Stella Emanuel. And actually, it's funny because he posted it, and then afterwards they asked him about it, and he said something to the effect of like, oh, well... I just thought she has some good points, but like I don't really know anything about her, which is like that's the fundamental like what you and I were saying. I mean, let's take it down to our level. How are you going to wear like a T-shirt of something without knowing what it's about? Like you're just going to share something without knowing who this person is.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No. I mean, basically,
and tell us all the wonderful things that this pediatrician said.
This doctor went according to just having to do with coronavirus. She says that first of all, she's a PCP. By her own admission, right?
PCP is
a primary care physician.
Okay, yeah, she's a PCP.
So she's not an infectious disease specialist.
She's also a preacher, by the way.
She's a preacher?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But she's not an infectious disease expert. You know what I mean? She's a PCP. Not that there's anything wrong with being a PCP, but
but right. She's not a specialist.
You don't go to a cardiologist when you have a problem with your foot.
Right, exactly.
Right? So, and she was, I think, in front of the Supreme Court saying how
minister, sorry, not a
how
preacher.
She has treated 350 patients with COVID, and she's given them hydroxychloride or whatever it's called, zinc and something else, and she's cured them all. And that she knows that that's a cure. And for the United States, for whatever interest, is not doing that, and people are dying. And that and that is the cure.
I'm also gonna share another little nugget of joy that she said. So she refers to herself as God's battle axe and weapon of war.
Okay.
And she claims that medical issues like endometriosis, cysts, infertility, and impotence are caused by sex with quote-unquote spirit husbands and quote-unquote spirit wives, a phenomenon described essentially as witches and demons having sexual intercourse with people in a dream world. They turn into a woman. This is a quote from her, I swear to God. Well, according to the outlet. They turn into a woman, and then they sleep with the man and collect his sperm. Then they turn into a man, and they sleep with the man and deposit the sperm and reproduce more of themselves. They are responsible for serious gynecological problems. We call them all kinds of names. Endometriosis. We call them molar pregnancies. We call them fibroids. We call them cysts. And most of them are evil deposits from the spirit husband.
I wonder what course in medical school was that. Did they teach her that?
I think Professor McGonagall.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I wonder that they have that course
not even
Hogwarts. Like John Hopkins,
Dude, University of Phoenix wouldn't even have that course.
Well, the president posts this, and then Madonna reposts the video. It gets taken down.
Which is the only time that the president and Madonna have agreed on anything.
They take it down. She takes it down, or somebody took it down.
No, I think they labeled it. Because that's the thing. Twitter...
it was labeled.
Twitter
it was
and
labeled,
Facebook, I think, now.
And I saw it when it was labeled. But somebody took it down.
Oh, they took it down.
And then they reposted it.
Okay.
And she was saying how this woman is a hero. And I'm like, again, Madonna. That's like when she... earlier in this whole pandemic, and I tend to defend her.
Yes.
Earlier in this pandemic,
but you also call her out on her shit
because she's full of shit.
Not now, siempre.
Yeah, and when she was like in the bathtub, naked, saying, "Oh, coronavirus is a great equalizer," it's like maybe that is not the best situation.
I know what she was saying. I know what she meant. But you have to think about how you deliver the message.
And it's like, these people need to shut up. Like they need to shut up. That's like, again, I may get some hate for this, but I'm just going to say it.
But let me tell you, podcast@gmail.com.
I have like a really big problem with like Dr. Oz.
Why?
Because Dr.
To me,
Oz,
he's so inconsequential.
because people watch Dr. Oz, and Dr. Oz is not a specialist. Like, and he gives he gives all this advice on all these different things. Like, he's giving advice on the coronavirus, and it's like, you're not an infectious disease doctor. Why are you weighing?
Has he had experts on? I'm genuinely asking.
him speaking.
Right. But I'm wondering if maybe like on his staff he does have.
But that's not the point. He's not an infectious disease doctor. He shouldn't be talking about that, because if you're giving medical advice and medical opinion from somebody else, then brings that person on your show, okay. Right? That's like if I were to give somebody else's legal advice. Well, so and so says this, right? No, that's not what you do. Right? The same with Dr. Phil and Dr. Drew, which I even like Dr. Drew, but I think with all Dr. Drew and Dr. Phil have been very opinionated about the coronavirus.
Well, Dr. Drew, what was his specialty in? Because I heard an interview with him the other day, and he actually has like a specialty in like.
But it's not an infectious disease,
right?
Right. This is a very terrible like disease that we know very little about. Right. No metas la cuchareta in something that is not your field. This is even the infectious disease doctors
don't know enough about it.
Are spinning their heads around, right? With this, so it's like no metas la cuchareta for the sake of the spotlight. So whatever. But how is everybody doing?
The spotlight. Oh my god! So did you hear this story? This is going to be like a wacky like story. It's not coronavirus related, but when I read it, I was like, okay, we need to bring this up. Did you hear about the Ukrainian president?
No.
This happened a couple weeks ago. So there was a terrorist, whatever, took a bus, 13 people. He hijacked the bus, took 13 people hostage. The Ukrainian president was able to get him to let them go by giving in to his demands. Do you know what his demands were?
I don't know. KFC.
Take. I'm gonna give you 3 guesses. That's your first one.
KFC.
No.
Is it food related?
It is not food related.
Is it entertainment related?
Sort of.
Did he want to see concert footage of Whitney Houston?
If it had been Osama bin Laden, maybe. Yeah. This is your last guess.
Did he want to see some type of acrobatic show?
No.
Porn?
What he wanted was for the president to post a video on Facebook urging people to watch a vegan documentary called Earthlings starring Joaquin Phoenix.
I could see that. I thought you were going to say that he wanted him to go live on television and do a pig.
No. It's not Black Mirror. This is not Black Mirror. No, but the guy lobbed a grenade out of the vehicle. He fired twice at officers. It was a 12-hour standoff.
That's not a bad demand.
That's crazy, but it's just funny to me that it's just like of all the things that he could have asked for, it's just like, I want you to watch vegan documentary starring Joaquin Phoenix, Academy Award winner for Joker.
I'm not mad. Well, I'm mad that he took the people hostage, but I'm not mad at that demand. I'm not mad at that. Minus the hostage situation.
Right. He could have asked for worse, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't ask for money. He just asked for a documentary.
And not even to make people watch it, just to tell them you should watch it.
Yeah.
He was just being, considerate.
Yeah. Speaking of documentaries, we need something else to come out like Tiger King.
Yeah. Walter Mccallo didn't scratch that itch. I mean, it did, but it's a very different animal. No pun intended.
Yes.
No pun intended.
The Walter Mccallo documentary, as much as we loved it, it was an endearing documentary.
Right. It was a love letter.
Right. It was like a love letter to Walter Mccallo. It wasn't controversial.
Right. I don't think there's a love letter.
We need something that will finish. You know what?
Did you hear that Carol Baskin got his zoo right?
Yes, I did.
And it's
you know what I want another? I want another fire festival. That one was great.
Right now we can't. I don't think we can.
No, but I want that type of documentary.
Oh, that type of just like you want Andy.
Yeah.
willing to go, to go do some things for water bottles.
For water. And it was Avion water. I mean, if you're going to do that, let
Madonna
it be for
did
Avion.
set the bar.
Yeah. She did. Well, going back to Madonna. Something like the Fire Festival. Because that was amazing.
Hi, Fire Festival. The further we get into this pandemic, the more I realize that's how people fall for a Fire Festival.
Make the connection?
Because people will believe anything.
Oh, yeah.
If you throw it on Instagram or as an influencer thing, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, the further we get away from it, because at first I was kind of like, how could people fall for it? How could people go? And I'm like, no, I get it now.
People don't ask questions.
I get it. People don't ask questions at all.
They don't. Allá lo que, a lo que sea.
Oh, Lord. Actually, on the topic of don't ask questions, it's a nice thing, but it does have to do with memes. Have you noticed that lately women have been posting the black and white pictures of themselves on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why they've been doing it?
In solidarity.
Of what? there's so much solidarity out there now. Okay. So I actually found out, I went down a rabbit hole yesterday, and it actually has ties to the mistreatment and femicides happening in Turkey.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of problems going on in Turkey. I mean, the president of Turkey is like one hair away from being a fascist, but let's go on.
So, yeah. So Turkey is one of the top countries when it comes to... I'm literally reading this, ladies and gentlemen. One of the top countries when it comes to femicides. In 2019 alone, they had 500 recorded femicides. Most of them are actually unrecorded, so they don't even know how many. What are you chuckling at?
I'm just laughing at how many people have done that. They probably don't even know where Turkey is on a map. But go ahead.
This is true. So the government and the justice system does like little to nothing to stop the crimes. People who do get caught are barely charged with a slap on the wrist. So the whole reason this started is because Turkish people wake up every day to see a black and white photo of a woman who's been murdered on their Instagram feed, on their newspapers, or on their TV screens. So... the black and white photo challenge was a way for women to raise their voice, to stand in solidarity, like you said, to the women that have been lost to femicide in Turkey. Basically, it could be your picture one day. Mm-hmm. But to your point, I don't think many people even know that that's what it's about. I mean, I didn't know about it.
I don't think most people do, because most people are just saying challenge accepted.
Right, challenge accepted, and it's like, here's a picture of me, like, eating a watermelon.
Yeah,
like,
in black and white.
In black and white.
There's no
context. There's
none at all.
There's no background on it.
Not at all. I think it's very ineffective.
And that's why. Because people just tend to do things to do it. Like, I remember seeing this already for like about, a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe this challenge has been going on. And I was like, I like seeing black and white pictures of ladies I know.
It's just going to be as effective as Coney 2012.
I hope it's more ALS challenge than Coney 2012.
Oh, gosh. Do you remember Coney 2012?
I do. Does anybody else remember Coney 2012?
We were going to catch Coney.
Yeah, and then the guy who started the Coney hashtag got caught running naked in the streets of Los Angeles.
He had lost his mind.
Well, he hadn't caught Coney.
I'll never forget the day that I showed the Coney 12 documentary to my parents.
Oh, I never. So I even saw that documentary.
For those who don't remember, Coney 2012. It wasn't a documentary. It was like
What was documentary?
It was like a short video
right.
that came out about this guy Coney, who he was like terrible. Like,
he was like an African warlord.
A warlord. He was involved in human trafficking and
child
wars,
soldiers.
Child.
Trafficking,
child abuse, child trafficking, human trafficking.
Name it, Coney.
The worst
Coney
of
was
the
involved.
worst.
This was not Coney Island.
There was this campaign, and most people didn't know who he was. So there was this video that went viral, and it was, I think it was one of like the first, not the first video to go viral, but one of like the first videos that I can think of. Right, that went viral with a cause.
Yeah.
Right, that on a certain date, people around the world were going to post pictures of Coney. So he could be recognized.
So he could be caught. Exactly.
Right? But then, as you said, the guy
who created the documentary. He had mental issues, clearly. But he was arrested. Actually, I don't even know if it were mental issues or if he was high. I don't know if it was substance or
I don't know. What
mental.
I do know is that when I was showing my parents the Coney documentary, I don't know if it was like after the Coney documentary peaked or whatever, but I do know that the day that I showed them the Coney documentary, that they were all like, whatever. I then showed them like a good hour of compilation videos of the Harlem Shake. Con
Like-
los terroristas.
Like to wash their mouth out of, like to wash the taste out of the coney.
The Harlem Shake was so good.
It was fun.
It was so good.
was
My
fun.
favorite Harlem Shake video.
We would do one now if it was a thing now.
My favorite Harlem Shake video was the one of the washing machine, where they put a brick in a washing machine
and then it just like, bah!
and it disintegrated, but it disintegrated to the beat and the melody of the Harlem
music.
Shake. It was amazing.
How did that even start?
I don't know. How did the Harlem Shake?
The Harlem Shake, because it's a song that nobody knew. It's not like it was a popular song like with Drake. It's not like when the Drake challenge, right? The song that nobody knew. And for some reason, everybody decided to do that challenge where it was like you would stay still, and then after the beat dropped, you would start like just going crazy.
We were just talking about Coney 2012 and human trafficking, and then the Harlem Shake. Like, I mean, really.
We're very diverse, well-rounded people.
Yeah, but
There's nothing to it. Other
we
than
were
that.
gonna bring Coney down.
I wonder if Coney's even still around now.
I don't know because we haven't heard.
We haven't heard.
We haven't heard Coney 2020.
Oh, maybe the COVID got him.
The COVID.
La corona.
La corona.
Lo agarró la corona.
I don't know. Speaking of catastrophes, ¿oíste lo que dijo el presidente esta semana?
I mean, I haven't.
He tweeted that he's very concerned about the mail-in fraud and that the election.
Oh, good, because I have a question for you about that.
That the election should be moved. It
To
should be
when?
postponed.
No, sweetheart, no, because that's how we get dictators.
Yeah. And I think it's great. I'm sure that his people think that's great. They go, yeah, of course it should be postponed. I'm sure that people that are like
because if you don't believe it's real, then what's the harm?
right, but none of this is
None of this
logical
matters.
and makes sense.
None of this matters. Question for you.
Dime.
What he posted, I know that there's absentee ballots, right?
Yes.
Or mail-in ballots. But he posted that using some other type of ballots as opposed to the absentee ballot.
No, there's mail-in ballots and there's absentee ballots.
Oh,
They're two different things.
Okay.
They're two different things, and they're counted differently for two different reasons. What he's talking about are mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots are just that, for people who don't want to go to a poll.
Got it.
They've always been used. There's never been
It's nothing new.
It's nothing new. A lot of times celebrities
Do
vote,
that so that they don't have to
a mail-in ballot,
Right.
but they're not the same thing because people get them confused.
Okay, so
They're
that's
not
that.
the same thing.
That's the
An
mail-in.
absentee ballot is when you cannot vote in your home state. For example, when the 20...
Okay. So it's like you're living abroad.
When I lived in Michigan, I voted absentee in Florida because I couldn't vote in Michigan.
Got
so
it.
I voted absentee in Florida. And absentee ballots are counted only if there's a certain margin.
So if there's like a X percent.
Right, they're counted. Otherwise, they're not. Whereas mail-in ballots are counted.
They are counted.
They are counted. The mail-in ballot simply is that you are not going to the poll that day, to your precinct, and you're mailing it in.
Would you do a mail-in?
No, I wouldn't do it simply because I like to go vote. I like to stand in line. I like to go. I like the process. And I went to vote during the primary, and the primary, they already had COVID.
They were doing distancing and all that?
Yeah.
I'm asking. No, I didn't go for the primaries, obviously. I'm independent.
Where I go vote, which is at my elementary school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They've always had, I don't know if it's 6 feet, but they've always had a significant amount of space between one booth and another.
See, but I'm talking about the line. Sorry.
In the line, in that precinct, not a lot of people go.
Okay.
So when I went, there was nobody in line. There were people inside, but there's nobody in line. So let's say that for the presidential election, there are probably going to be more.
People, right?
I'm sure they'll probably
figure something out
in terms of social distancing. I like to go vote.
Likewise. There's something empowering about
your
showing up.
Duty. I like getting the sticker.
Me too.
I like all that. It's funny because my first election that I voted was 1996.
I
had just turned 18
because you were 18 before me.
Yeah, I had just days, literally days.
That's true. In October,
Yes.
You're right.
Have I ever told you the whole story about where I vote and the whole thing with me being a Democrat? Okay, so I vote at my elementary school's precinct.
Okay.
right? So my parents still live in the same house I grew up in, which is, in Westchester, which is an overwhelmingly
Cuban.
Republican and Cuban and conservative neighborhood. I have always identified as a Democrat. Since I was 18 years old, I registered as a Democrat. Always. Okay. Everybody in my family is a Republican. So when you go to my precinct, in the last couple of elections, they don't have it that way anymore. They've I guess digital, made
they modernized.
They modernized it. But forever, they would have binders, right? Because this is not a big precinct, so you're not talking about tens of thousands of people, right?
A couple hundred. Yeah.
They would have binders, and the binders were separated by political party, right? So in the binder,
and what was in the binder?
In the binder was your voter ID.
Okay.
That's where they need to then get that sticker and put it on the ballot.
Sign you off.
Right.
Okay.
So, I would give my ID, of course, and then they would automatically go to the binder that, go to the Republican section, and they'd have Borges Diane, Borges Roberto, Borges Roger, Borges, Borges
everyone and their mother.
Every Borges, except me. And I would always have to be and of course the Republican binder
was 8,000 pages,
20 binders,
right,
those big, thick three-ring binders. It was 20 of them, and then the Democrat one was a lonely little folder.
It was a manila folder,
and I would just be because it's very automatic. I'll be just no. You look at the folder. I'm in the folder.
I'm not in the big one. I'm not in the big one.
I'm not in the big one with the rest of my family. And I remember one time, they're not supposed to say anything. Right. One time a lady even told me something. She's like, "Ay, mijo, Edada, you're the black sheep." And I go, yep. Because I was it happens every time. They would go and check in the binders, because the binders are by alphabetical order.
Right.
So they'll be I see Borges Roberto, Borges Roger, Borges
14
Sylvia,
people later.
Borges this. I'm I'm not there. I'm in that folder over there with 3 names.
I'm one of the 3.
And my last name starts with a B, so
I'm the first one. The first one. Unless there's an Alvarez that
then
registered.
They would open the lonely Democrat folder with 3 names of the 3 Democrats that live in the precinct.
You guys had meetings every Tuesday.
Those were the good old days.
The good old days. The days of binders and folders.
No, but thankfully a lot of Republicans have come out and been what the fuck are you talking about? You can't do that. Only Congress can change an election. And there has never been a change in the election in the 244 years that this country has existed.
We voted in a civil war.
Yes. We have voted in the worst of times.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
So before people that, are pro-Trump, start being because I'm sure that a certain follower that we have, will find a way of being
But again, to your point of earlier, where it's just it's espérate. O te peinas o te haces papelilla, because it's okay, wait. Is COVID real or is it fake? Because if it's fake, then you don't mind going to vote.
Right, but this is a type of situation where, and it's not even, I don't even see it from a political lens of whether you like Trump or not. Because I would think that even if I was a Trump supporter, I would gauge and understand that postponing an election indefinitely
is because there's no date attached.
Very, very dangerous thing. Because it's not you're postponing the election a week. You're postponing the election
until we can figure it out.
Allegedly, because there's a pandemic.
Right.
We don't know when this is going to end.
Right.
So even if I was a Trump supporter, would gauge and again rationalize that this has never happened in the history of our country.
That's the easiest way you find yourself with a dictatorship.
Right, ever. And this is something very, 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 very dangerous. Very dangerous. So, it's really interesting. So this is kind of a little kicker, right?
Oh, God.
So, because again, people talk out of their ass. People go to Facebook and Instagram University, and they have a degree in meme. A degree in meme. And then they base political opinions and, political fights on a meme. And they will,
a la muerte.
A la muerte.
On a meme.
What a meme says. Mind you, they don't know who wrote the meme, where the meme came from, what the meme says.
They can't be bothered to research.
Right. But the meme says what they think they want to say, right? So do you know what would happen if Trump, let's say, come the election, Trump does not
concede.
peacefully
Doesn't concede.
Doesn't concede. And
If he loses.
And if he loses, he doesn't concede. It is proven that the election was fair because then there would have to be a review. If he doesn't concede, there would have to be a review of the election, and the Supreme Court will be involved. And then once the Supreme Court and Congress signs off that, this election was fine, if he doesn't technically leave the White House, he's like, I'm not giving up the presidency.
If he doesn't temper tantrum, Pelosi becomes president.
Pelosi becomes president.
At least in the interim.
Yes.
So basically, it's a lose-lose
So
for
you're
him.
not winning.
It's a lose-lose, my friend. It's a lose-lose.
The Speaker of the House becomes
president.
Interim president.
Interim, yeah.
So it's like, I would love to tell his people that. But I give credit where credit is due. I give credit to many Republicans, including Lindsey Graham, who have come out. Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. They came out and said that
Ass-licky Mitch McConnell?
No, that we're having the election. So I give them credit. Then don't say I don't give credit to Republicans. I give them credit where credit is due, that they came out and shut this nonsense down. Porque tú sabes what happens. If they don't say a word, it's going to get,
Yeah, it gains traction.
Yeah, it gains traction.
It gains traction.
And he'll tweet it again. And, before you know it, his people will be out like, cancel the election.
Right.
Cancel the election.
COVID's not real, but cancel the election.
COVID is not real. It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. Cancel the election.
Right. So I give them credit that they stepped up, and other Republicans did, and they're like, yeah, no.
Like, no, mi amor, not quite. Speaking of credit, completely changing the topic. Congratulations goes out to former, a guest of the show, friend of the show, Harvey Guillen, and the cast of What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows got nominated for Best Comedy Series at the Emmys.
Yay!
This week, so just wanted to toss that out there. Just
it's funny. I didn't even know the Emmy nominations were coming out this week.
Me neither.
You know what I thought was really funny? Remember a couple of weeks ago that you and I were like,
he should have been nominated.
That you and I were like, Zendaya's overrated. Like, what is it? I don't particularly dislike Zendaya. I just don't get it. I just think I don't get the media, fever. It's like, Zendaya's, and I'm like,
I don't get the Zendaya fever.
Zendaya. Like, yeah, if she does a great role or does something, I'll be the first one to be like, awesome. That's awesome for her. She's a cute girl, she is talented. I mean, but if you wouldn't know her career trajectory, you would think she's
Meryl Streep.
Yes, right. And I found out that first the Emmy nominations were in, and that she was nominated for Euphoria because every single entertainment led with Instagram, led with that. Zendaya nominated first time ever. People, US Weekly. Zendaya nominated for first time ever. Whatever. Cosmopolitan. Zendaya. I don't even subscribe to these feeds, and there they were. Like when I opened up my Instagram and the main page, it's like, why do I have Zendaya everywhere? Like,
I don't get la gente. Like their love of Zendaya. I don't get it. She's whatever. I mean,
and I want to make it very clear.
She's no more or less talented than anybody out there.
I'm not hating on her.
I don't get it.
I'm not hating on her. And you know what? I'm happy for anybody's success. But again, if you read entertainment outlets, you think that she is the world's biggest star.
Streep, Streisand, Garland, everybody rolls into one.
The world's greatest, top star.
Her box office draw must be gajillions.
Yeah, I didn't even know that she was in that show Euphoria.
I haven't seen that show. Because to me that show is just one more of these oh my God, look at modern teenage life, and it's like, no, that's not modern teenage life.
Have you seen 365?
The one about the guy who kidnaps the woman and then she falls in love with him through sexual Stockholm syndrome?
Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, this is DJ. How is everybody doing? Well, I have some great news for you guys. I'm here to tell you about Manscaped because let's face it, con el calor que hay, the last thing we want is to be bushy below the belt, right? And as you guys know, we've been telling you of how much we love Manscaped and their products. Their Lawnmower 3.0 has been a godsend when you live in Miami, the birthplace, of humidity, the center of humidity. And now they're helping us groom areas everyone can see too. The Shears 2.0 Nail Kit is the perfect add-on to their Perfect Package Hair Trimmer Kit. Manscaped Shears 2.0 Nail Kit has 4 stainless steel tools, slash-tipped tweezers, rounded point scissors, nail clippers, and a medium grit nail file. Come on, it's flip-flop seasons. Let those talents under control, guys, because you know how bad that could be. And you know that we're going to give you a promo code. So use our promo code BETO20 and it gets you 20% off and free shipping and handling. That's right. 20% off with code BETO20 means you could get the Perfect Package 3.0 kit featuring the Lawnmower 3.0 and toss in the Shears 2.0 as well. Not enough savings? Está bien. For a limited time, if you subscribe for the Razor replacement plan, you can also get a free travel bag and their comfortable and chafe-reducing Manscaped boxer briefs, which, by the way, I use all the time and are awesome underwear. Bueno, a ver, 20% discount, free gifts, clean nails, and trimmed, you know what? Sounds like a hell of a bargain. So what are you waiting for, guys? Visit manscaped.com and use promo code BETO20 today.
I haven't seen it, but
it's not a movie. It's softcore porn. Those people are not acting. Those people are having sex.
It's like Red Shoe Diaries type.
What?
Like Red Shoe Diaries.
I've never seen that.
Like those late night Skinamax movies.
Well, no, because I think that those movies were supposed to be risque and like. Well, not that this isn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it's like that.
I mean,
like,
this is an actual movie.
Yeah, but those were movies too. I mean, theoretically.
Right, but it's not like right. But I mean, this is an actual movie that's based on a book. It's based on a trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's just that, the sex scenes were like.
I haven't seen the movie, but I do kind of have an issue that, and you saw the movie, so correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
Does it's that?
No, I just saw the.
Oh, you didn't see the movie?
No, I just fast forward to the scenes. Go, huh?
Oh, so you were just looking for a little spank bank material?
No, I was just curious. I was doing research.
Oh, okay. The things we do for this show.
Yes.
No, because based on the synopsis or the plot log line that I've read on Netflix, is that like he kidnaps her?
He kidnaps her, yeah. And then the thing is that she's supposed to fall in love with him in 365 days. Yes.
Right.
Do you know what rating has on Rotten Tomato?
Why does he kidnap her? Is my question.
Because he likes her.
So basically, this is a movie that is glorifying.
Yeah, that's why the movie's been controversial.
Kidnap.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what rating has on Rotten Tomatoes?
Can they give negative ratings?
It has a 0.
Showgirls has a higher rating than that.
Well,
no, but I'm saying.
Okay, so you know what I saw this week that I haven't seen in a long time, and I think that you and I should rewatch it. I saw Glitter.
I haven't seen it in a couple years.
You know what? This is a reassessment of Glitter.
Justice for Glitter.
Justice for Glitter. I'm not going to say it's a good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
But with that said.
But there are parts of that movie that I think from a cinematography or cinematic angle are not bad. Like the club scenes in that movie
are good.
Are actually really good.
They're really well done.
They're very well done with like the, because it was supposed to be New York City in the early 80s. Right. From like the costumes that people would wear to like the dancers on like the little podium.
Back when people wore silver streaks on their bodies.
Right. Like there are some shots in that movie that were really good.
But I don't think the problem with that movie was that it looked cheap.
And the acting is not good by any stretch of the imagination.
But nobody in that movie is an actor except for Terrence Howard.
It's not good, but I've seen worse. I've seen worse by actors, right?
True.
Right? I just think that the main foundational problem with that movie, and of course, because she was the star, it was her star vehicle, Mariah Carey's star vehicle, she gets the weight for it, was the character development, which you and I have talked about this before. You don't really care for any of the characters in that movie. You don't care for her. Like, she was abandoned by her mother.
She's an orphan. Okay,
she's an orphan. She was abandoned by her mother, and at the end, she meets up with her mother.
Just because they need an ending.
You're not really like happy or sad that happened
because they've never built up any type of
He gets killed. You feel nothing.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
You get nothing. You feel nothing when Terrence Howard kills him. The characters are just not developed. So you don't feel anything for any of the characters.
I'm gonna stop you right there because I feel that if you watch Glitter and you don't feel something stirring inside of you, along with Mariah when she, as Billy Frank, is seduced by the marimba.
Oh yeah,
you're just not.
You're
just not alive. You're not alive.
You know where I would like to know? This is totally side. In the museum of the Cuban diaspora.
Where's the marimba?
Where marimberos, as in drug dealers?
Yes.
Where did they get that name from? Because un
I never
marimbero
stopped to think
would
about
be
this.
somebody who plays
plays
the
the
marimba,
marimba.
right?
Okay, so I don't know the origin, but I'm going to take a stab at it.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna take a stab at it. So marimberos are people who play la marimba, meaning that they're musicians. Musicians travel. When you're dealing drugs, you have to travel. You have to transport the drug from one place to the other. So probably, who the hell's gonna look inside of a marimba? They're gonna look inside un congo because it's big. So there's a lot of space there. But if you space everything out under a marimba, nobody's gonna check.
No, we wouldn't know that. If that was the real reason, we would know that.
Okay, but give me credit. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
For coming up with
That
on
was
the
pretty
fly.
good. Yeah.
That is a really good question.
Yes. So can we go to the museum
Of the Cuban diaspora?
and where does it get its name from?
I'm sure. You know what? We should Wikipedia at some point. Just remind me.
Do you think that will be on Wikipedia?
Do you have a better starting point?
No, because the thing. No. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you look up like the drug traffic wars of the early 80s between the Cubans and Colombians that staged here in Miami, the whole cocaine cowboys thing, they're not going to necessarily refer to Cubans as marimberos.
That's slang.
Right. That's slang.
Cuban
That's
slang.
just
yeah.
what everybody used to say.
Yeah.
Ese es un marimbero.
Right.
Right? So I don't know. Where did it come from?
Let's find one. Listeners, do any of you know former marimberos who we can perhaps ask?
I don't think marimberos knew either. I just think they were labeled that.
Oh, that's horrible not to know why you're being called something.
Yeah. I remember the day of the marimberos. We were kids, but I very well remember them.
Okay, so I don't remember it per se, but I do remember that there were some not friends of the family, but it's one of those fulano conoce fulano or whatever, and
Oh my gosh, we knew so many people.
they would have kids parties or whatever, and you knew the kid, but we would never go to the parties because a esa casa no se puede ir, like that type of thing.
Yeah, I remember my brother, friends of his from school, that when my parents would start meeting the people, the parents, they'll be like, oh, you have a mansion? Mom is a stay-at-home wife, and
you have 18 horses.
Dad is a mechanic.
Sure,
and
sure,
you
Dan.
Y todo el mundo tenía una casa en Los Cayos
Well, of course.
with a boat and a
Y jet
Cadillac.
ski.
And a Cadillac.
Yes.
Right? It had to be a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Right? Y una cadena bien grande.
Well, Jose knew a girl in school that I think her father went to jail, and her
4 or 5 people that went to jail.
and her mother, they killed her when she was at la peluqueria.
Oh.
Yeah. So the girl grew up without parents. I think she went to live with her grandparents or something. But yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. It's a terrible time.
Yeah.
No, but I very much remember my parents in my family, not to make my family sound like a saint or better than everybody. In my family, there were none.
That I know of, none.
There were none. These were people that we knew third parties.
Right, exactly.
Friends of a friend or fulano.
Right.
It's fulano all of a sudden bought a boat and a house in the Keys and
Right. Gente que conocías
and they're going to Bimini a lot.
Right. You would see
se van
them,
toda la semana para Bimini.
I've never been to Bimini.
You've never been to Bimini?
I've never been to Bimini.
It's 55 miles away.
Well, Cuba's 90. Never been there either.
Well, this is closer. It's almost halfway.
I've never been to Bimini.
Oh my gosh. Do you know it was the first time we went to the Bahamas? My family.
Did you go on a Seaescape?
Of course, to Freeport, Bahamas on the Scandinavian song. I even remember the name of the thing. I remember that was the first cruise we ever went on.
It was the first cruise everybody ever went on here in Miami.
It was very nos vamos en un crucero.
De un día, pero
De
bueno.
un día, pero en un crucero.
Un crucero.
I remember we bought clothes for this.
I miss cruises. I was supposed to go on a cruise this year.
I miss Seaescape. Let Seaescape take you on a day cruise.
I'm sure with the way things are going, we could probably buy a ship from Carnival and
Carnival
start the
sounds
Seaescape
great.
again.
Do you remember when Seaescape changed their song? It used to be Let Seaescape take you on a day cruise.
Wait, come on and Seaescape. Come on and Seaescape.
Nah.
No.
Do you remember Discovery?
I remember them, but I don't remember any of their
Con
jingles.
Discovery, serás feliz. Discovery Cruise Lines.
Oh, no, I don't
Discovery Cruise Lines, no?
I know Discovery, but I don't remember any of their
I remember
jingles.
all the jingles. That's like NCL in the early 90s was En el mar, la vida es más sabrosa. En un crucero de NCL, disfruta más.
This is great.
And then, of course, Carnival was in the morning,
of
in the
course.
evening. Hey, we got fun.
Aw, Regis.
30 years. 30 years. I knew there was something I wanted to talk about. It was Regis
the minute that
Philbin.
you said it, that you started singing, I was like, we have to talk about this.
Yes. Yes. Which, by the way, when you found out that he passed away, isn't the first thing you thought about Kathy Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Joyce still around?
His wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what was great about him was that I thought about this even before Kathy Lee said it or other people said it, because, it's just one of those things that when you stop and you think of his legacy, it's obvious. He is somebody that everybody loved, no matter who you were, what race, what color, what economic. Everybody loved Regis Philbin, and he never had any type of controversy.
No, that's true.
He was like a total class act.
Yeah, because even in the heyday of Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, that she was caught up in her scandal with the sweatshop, and the tabloids would try to make it that they were in fights and that they hated each other and blah blah blah. Like it never, I feel like it never stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people never believed it.
There was never anything negative about him. Never. Just everybody enjoyed him. And he holds the record for the most time on television, 17,000 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
More than Betty White?
Yeah, because I guess
because Betty White's been on TV since like 1950
but just in Live alone, he hosted Live for 30 years?
And it was 5 days a week.
And it was 5 days a week, an hour.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
Plus, the fact that he had been doing this since 1940.
Yeah. Betty White probably has the most years in the industry or something like that.
Yeah.
But active.
But yeah, that was a sad one.
Yeah.
Because it also came out of nowhere. I know that he wasn't a spring chicken, but I can't say I was thinking about his mortality.
It's not like he heard he was sick.
You know what? I think about Betty White's mortality.
But 3 weeks ago, he did because they brought back Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on ABC with Jimmy Kimmel, and they did a little preview special, and he came out.
Right.
And yo lo vi viejito, pero bueno.
Yeah. I think of Betty White's mortality. I'm like, okay, Betty White is 98, I know people make it to 110 nowadays.
Well, Olivia de Havilland passed away at 104 the other day.
I exactly. I know people make it really far these days, but oh my gosh.
It's
him,
right there.
I hadn't thought about him in that way yet. I was like, oh, he's not even 90. He's 88,
I thought of him as old, but I didn't think of an age. If that makes sense.
Yeah, he wasn't so. Again, you weren't thinking so much of his mortality because he's always there. He was always on TV,
and he was always had the same zippy personality.
Yes.
But
that was that's a sad one to see go.
Yeah,
that's a sad one. It's funny because sometimes these celebrities or public figures pass away, and some hurt more than others for you depending on what you're into. But then some like him, he was just such a constant presence.
He was always, for the 40 years of my life.
Yeah.
Since I know about life, Regis Philbin has been there.
Yeah. And I feel the same way about Kathy Lee. I love Kathy Lee.
I fucking love Kathy Lee.
I love, I've told you this before. I don't know if I've said it on the show. I used to watch Kathy Lee now in the mornings on the Today Show with Hoda.
The fourth hour.
And I love that Kathy Lee, she was in her 60s. She's been doing this a really long time. She doesn't need to impress anybody.
Had no fucks to give.
She had no fucks to give, no filter. Ella decía lo que le daba la gana. Then at times I'd be like, aren't you a Christian woman? I'd be like, your Christianity went out the window.
Listen, you can have your faith and still, be a sassy dame.
Yeah, but
one of my favorite things in the world of her was when she was on the fourth hour, that when she would do the contest, that when people would lose. On the street, she pulled them.
They win her CD.
They get her CD.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Oh, you lost. Here's a CD. Here's
the CD.
a CD of my music.
Yeah, my Christmas CD."
But that was great. Sense of humor, and that's I think her and Regis had that sensibility of mocking themselves. You know what I mean? You can't take yourself too seriously. It's to quote Jerry Halliwell. Right? It's important it's important to learn to laugh at ourselves. You have to, especially if you're going to do a live show.
It's so funny because he was with Kelly Ripa for 12 years. And so almost as long as he was with
Kathy Lee was what, 15?
15. And I love Kelly Ripa.
Nothing against Kelly Ripa.
But it wasn't the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
I feel because him and Kathy Lee, although they were not...
They had great chemistry. Just like you and I.
Exactly. They were not the same age, but they felt more contemporaries.
Yes.
Whereas by the time he was paired with Kelly... Yeah, he had grandchildren. Kelly was, just starting to have kids.
She was in her 20s.
Right. The age gap was very, very big. And so even though there was an age gap between Kathy Lee and Regis,
but it was different.
It was a different time too.
It was different because I think that with Regis and Kathy Lee, even though there was an age difference, she would take jabs at him.
Right.
Constantly.
Right. It was like
it wasn't like respect your elder. Whereas Kelly, although, obviously him and Kelly did well because they were together for 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
She wasn't taking jabs at him, like personal.
But that's what I mean. They felt more like contemporaries.
Yeah, they did because I think in part, not only because they were closer in age, but because of, she's like in show business.
She's an actress.
She's Kathy Lee.
No,
No, she was in show business, like in musicals and stuff like that.
Oh, that's true. She was in the Gong Show.
So she had a little bit of that, like, jazzy, like, kind of thing that he did.
They both came from the same world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I get it. Speaking of, though, on the topic of hosts, I am not looking forward to seeing Tyra Banks on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like Tom Bergeron was the perfect host for that.
Okay, why did they get rid of him? And why? I mean, I imagine that show's already been on the air for like 15 years. It's losing ratings, so they need to spice it up.
That's why. No other reason. They need to do something to
I
spice
like
it up.
Tyra Banks. I actually,
I don't have an issue with her in C, but it's just I don't see her as a good fit.
I actually used to like her talk show. I don't know why they got rid of it. I guess they didn't have.
No, I think she ended it.
I don't know if she ended. I actually liked her talk show. But on Dancing with the Stars, I
just feel it's a certain type, and I don't think she's that type. I think to host Dancing with the Stars, it has to be somebody who understands how to bring something out of the contestants, but then recede into the background.
I'm surprised they didn't bring in Joey Fatone.
That would have been a better choice.
Because Joey Fatone, isn't, he's like in his mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
So he's not a little kid. He was on the show.
He's been doing voice for hosting for years
he's
now.
hosted a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He was on the show.
Right, so he has a history.
Everybody knows who he is.
Right.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they offered to tell me he didn't want it. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be too.
I mean, who knows?
I don't know. I just don't think she's going to be a very good host.
I just think that they need to bring back Sabrina Ryan. Brian,
again
for the third time and just give her the damn mirror ball.
Should they just make her the host now?
No, they should.
Just make her the host.
They should give her. You know how there's an honorary Oscar,
like a participation ribbon.
They should give her. Right, but the difference between Sabrina Bryan and a participation ribbon.
She participated.
She participated. In both seasons, she was hands down the best person from week one. But for some reason,
the gods said no.
You know, it's incredible that in both times she was in, she got voted off on the 6th week.
Really?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, so in one of the earlier seasons of Dancing with the Stars,
I think no more than season 6 or 7.
Yeah, Sabrina Ryan went on it. Brian, she was a cheetah girl, and I remember that her first dance, week 1, was a cha-cha, and she did "Don't you think your girlfriend?"
Don't you from Pussycat Dolls,
and I think she got like a perfect score. Like she either got a perfect score or she got like all 9s. Like she blew it out of the ballpark. Like she was amazing, and she was hands down the best person on the show. That the judges were like, I can't believe that this is you on week 1.
Right. Where do you go? Yeah.
Right. But she then got voted off on week 6, in part because Dancing with the Stars at the end of the day is a popularity contest.
True.
And there were people there that were more famous than she was. So then, many years later, Dancing with the Stars had like
All Stars.
Well, no, it wasn't an All Star season. It was like all people that had lost.
But it was an All Stars. They call them All Stars when they bring back guests. When they bring back people, when they like, for instance, when RuPaul does the All Stars seasons, it's not people who've won. They're just calling them All Stars.
Okay, well then I guess I don't know if they called it All Star, but they had a season where they brought back people who hadn't won and were like popular,
fan favorites,
and and she was the first one. I was like, Tuera, she's gonna win. She's gonna win. This is redemption for Sabrina Bryan. No, she got voted off, and then the week that she got voted off, I remember she did a rumba and she got a perfect score and she got voted off.
People who are good dancers don't tend to do well on that show. Like, I mean, good dancers as like, because again, she was a cheater girl, so she has some type of dance background.
I still think it's robbed, right?
Mel
was robbed.
Mel
B.
Mel B should have won. Absolutely
should have won. Mel B was the best dancer. She was not only good, she improved the most. She was the best. That was season 5 or 6.
Oof, that was
and she lost to Elio Castaneda,
Castanova,
or whatever, the race car driver. That's because, he did all, like, I don't know, he threw confetti in The Last Dance.
His dance was good, but it wasn't Mel B.
Huh?
His dance was good, but it wasn't Mel B.
His dance was good because they had confetti, and it was loud and bright.
Well, things I enjoy. But no, what I was saying is, like, for instance, like Juan Pablo didn't win, and he was fantastic.
He was robbed too.
Heather Morris from Glee, the one who played Britney on Glee. I mean, the woman has toured with Beyonce as a dancer, and she couldn't win Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. Like, people who, like, Corbin Bleu did not win.
Yeah.
Like, people who have, like, a dance background don't win Dancing with the Stars.
I never thought about it that way. Well, Jennifer Grey won.
She won?
Jennifer Grey?
Oh, I didn't remember that she won.
Yeah, she won.
Oh, yeah, but she did, like, one movie. I wouldn't call that a dancing background.
No. And I mean, that's very nostalgic. And
right. And also, like, I mean, all her dance talent went away when she got her nose job.
I love when there's certain people that they have
that are going to be bad.
They're going to be out by the second week.
Right.
And depending on what they did, like, for example, Billy D. Williams.
I knew you were going to go with Billy D.
Billy D. Williams on week 2 was already doing Star Wars.
Listen, Billy D.
You're not going to get far, so we need to get Star Wars out of the way.
Let's get it out of the way because everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
So just do it.
You're not Carlton Banks. Because the Carlton, I remember when Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yeah. He has a dance background, and he won, right?
He won.
Okay, so there you go. Prove me wrong.
No, but I agree with what you're saying. I mean, there have been exceptions, but I agree with what you're saying. I remember that when he was on it, but you knew that Alfonso Ribeiro was going to kick ass on that show, right? That was something you're waiting for. Like, okay.
The Carlton, right? When is he going to do it?
When are they going to do the Carlton?
Right.
Like, when are they going to do it?
Right.
And then when they finally did it, But I actually like that show, but I have to say that, okay, so we all know that A-listers don't go on that show.
Right. But
they've really dropped down the alphabet recently.
Yeah. I mean, I think next year we could be on it.
I think we can. Wow, that was one of the first things that you said.
I want to be on that show. I mean, think about it. Look, you already get 2 contestants rolled into one, right? So it's out the gate, you knock out 2 people. They've already done the whole, like, husband and wife, blah, blah, blah. Like, hello, lifelong friends. And we're going to be competing against each other, but there's, like, that friendly rivalry. This could work.
Yeah.
This could work.
But you're going to win, right?
No, that's just it. I don't think I'm going to get far. I think you're going to improve and you're going to get further than me because of kind of what I just said. Because I'm the better dancer of the two. Like,
you're going to come in, you're going to peak early.
Right, exactly. By, like, week 4, they're going to be like, I mean, yeah, you do good, but, like, that's it. Like, where else are you going to go from here?
Where I'll be like, do you want to see my walls?
Right. Like, you're going to improve week by week. And, like, by the time it ends, you're going to be, like, flipping, Carrie Ann and Abba and all that.
I've told you this. I would love to do the paso doble. Like,
yes.
Really aggressive. Like,
I want to do the jive.
Oh, of course you would want to do the jive.
I want to do the jive.
You would want to do the jive with some really peppy music, with like a 50s,
Well,
theme.
I'm not going to do it to Evanescence.
No, I want to do I want to do the paso doble in like a homicide, like
the theme to Psycho or something like that.
No, that's already been done.
Damn it, that's right. That's right.
But something really dark.
Does The Shining have a theme?
Dancing the paso doble
to the theme from The Shining.
DJ Borges and Peta. No, now does she go by Peta?
Well, it's Peter Murgatroyd, but I can't remember what her new name is. Peta Max Kowalski? What is her last name?
Chermosky.
That's what I mean.
Sure. So, anyway. Wow. That was like... Man.
We went around the world.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. This made me very thirsty.
As it should. Uy, I'm so thirsty que estoy like, I'm a little parched. So do you want to go first?
I will go first.
All right.
So I'm giving my last soda to, it'll be a quick one, to John Lewis. So
Representative John Lewis?
Yes. So as you guys know, John Lewis passed away about a week ago. Not only was he in Congress, but he is a civil rights activist, one of the last, if not the last, of the group that was with Martin Luther King, a lifetime of service, fighting for something bigger than himself, and just a total class act.
Yeah.
And, in this day and age,
we can use all the class acts we have.
Everything is so political and divisive and all that. He is somebody that fought a good fight, did it with class, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of an American hero.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
I don't disagree. Well, for my last soda, I'm actually giving it to probably not the complete opposite, but I'm giving it to Apple. Now, why am I giving a last soda to one of the biggest corporations in probably the universe?
The evil empire, as I call them.
Well, because the evil empire is actually doing something that I know I have said should be done, and I believe you've agreed with me. They're giving their employees paid time off this year to go vote.
Okay, good.
So, they, again, yes, they are a corporation. They have many evils and all that. But you know what? When they do good, right? And I think that that's something that if we want, I know we're talking earlier about like, go to vote and don't go to vote and indefinite, postponement. But I've always said that I think voting in this country should either be a national day off or you should be able to get the day off from work, whatever, figure or take a sick day, whatever. Because many people do not go out to vote because they cannot afford to take the time off. Now, arguments could be made, like you said, you can vote by mail, you can vote. There's a whole lot of other ways to do it.
Well, your job is supposed to give you time to go vote, but as we know...
But, the reality of it is, let's say even though they're supposed to, a lot of people probably just feel scared even to ask for the time off, you know? So I'm, kudos to Apple for figuring that that's something important they should get behind.
I'm still not buying an iPhone.
Well, and I think they'll be fine.
I've been iPhone free, never had an iPhone.
I know.
I've had an iPod.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you've had some Apple.
Well, my problem with Apple. I liked Apple. Remember, I used to have a Macintosh.
Oh, you used to have a Mac, yeah.
And I had an iPod, but then, they got so expensive. And let's be honest, they're expensive because they're expensive. They're
expensive because they're Apple.
They're Apple.
They're expensive because they're Apple, and they're Apple because they're expensive. It's a circular logic, but yes.
Yes. So, but we're not going to get into that conversation now.
That's
because that will extend the show by
that's a topic for another day.
So we hope everybody listened, laughed, and learned. That was another episode. Grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. And that was episode 120.
Yep. Take care, peoples. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michelangelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.